Hello and welcome to part 2 of Covid-19 Glossary. My name is Mas and today I'll be giving you another 10 key terms and phrases so that you can discuss this topic with confidence. The first word is contaminated surface. Contaminated surface. Now this is being used in a lot of reports that we have read. A surface could be door handle, table and etc. and it has been contaminated. Then there's the presence of the virus, the coronavirus. In a wider context, contaminated surface could be something that is not as pure as it was. So water can be contaminated. It might have been polluted or dirty. But in this case, we're talking about the presence of the virus, coronavirus, on tables and chairs and etc. So example in a sentence, people have been asked to wash their hands just in case they were in contact with a contaminated surface. The second word is contact tracing. Contact tracing. Contact tracing is the process of identification of a person who may have come into contact with an infected person. For example, public health experts have done some detective work, finding each sick person and then figuring out who they recently interacted with. This technique is called contact tracing. It helps to get the outbreak of diseases like COVID-19 under control. The next word is emergency measures. Emergency measures. A measure is a plan of action to solve a problem. And if it's an emergency measure, then it needs immediate attention. Maybe something happened very quickly and so action needs to take place. A good example of emergency measure would be cancellation of sporting events. For example, there was going to be a soccer match between Malaysia and Thailand and it has been cancelled. So that is an emergency measure.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
The next word is herd immunity. Herd immunity. It is when many people in a community become immune to an infectious disease that it stops the disease from spreading. So for example, when a high percentage of the community is immune to a disease through vaccination or prior illness. An example in a sentence would be, once herd immunity has been established, the disease can eventually be eliminated. The next word is shelter in place. Shelter in place. Now in the past, shelter in place has been used to instruct people to stay safely in a building or even a car that they're already in, rather than trying to evacuate or run away from an immediate danger outside. It could be a wild animal, an active shooter, or even a bomb. However, in 2020, the term has taken on a very different meaning. It is a government's order for all non-essential workers to stay at home for an extended period of time, only going out for very specific reasons and maintaining social distancing, all to slow the spread of COVID-19. The next word is self-isolation. Self-isolation. Now, self-isolation is one of the measures or recommendations that I've seen reported, where you isolate yourself, hence the word self. Probably you think you have the symptoms of the coronavirus, so you don't go out as much as you do. But it's not an official quarantine as such. It's just that you want to isolate yourself from other people so that they don't catch the disease. It can also be a verb, to self-isolate. For example, in a sentence, people showing symptoms have been asked to self-isolate. The next word is stockpiling. Stockpiling. Now this is to gather a large amount of things that you need. And in this context that I'm thinking here is food. Now I'm sure we've seen reports of people going to the supermarket and buying up all the toilet roll and gardenia bread so that they don't run out at home. And this is stockpiling. So for example, we would say people are stockpiling canned food. And there's another term for this. It's called panic buying. And there's a lot of panic buying at the moment. People are worried that they might not be able to buy enough food, so they're panic buying. It's mainly consumers going to the shop and buying all the things that they need because they're worried. The next word is super spreader. Super spreader. Now, this is someone that without knowing is spreading the virus to many other people. And usually we would use the word super in a positive way, but that is not the case here. Now, we hear the phrase for the first time with a case of a guy from Wuhan who was called a super spreader as he accidentally spread the virus to many other people. The next word is Wuhan shake. Wuhan shake. Now, another example of how language evolves and new phrases getting invented is the Wuhan shake. Now, people are worried about shaking hands because that's the way to spread the virus. So people are touching elbows, and someone has coined the phrase to Wuhan shake. So when you meet someone and you give them an elbow, it's called the Wuhan shake. And finally, to work remotely. To work remotely. This is to work away from your office, so probably at home at the moment. So if you work remotely, you can work anywhere in the world. But you are probably going to be working at home in this context, because the idea is if you go to the office, you might pick up or spread the virus. Now, another term that we can use is working from home, and the abbreviation is WFH. So I often see my friends saying, I'm WFH today. So example in a sentence, many companies are asking their employees to work remotely. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the aim of this video is to give you the vocabulary, the language, so that you can discuss about it in English in a confident way. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more contents like this. Stay safe. Bye.